Hey guys, welcome back once again. Today I'm going to discuss a few sample questions based on the statistics. So let's see in detail. Statistics is the third section as per the Ministry of Education UAE. So belongs to this chapter, you may expect approximately 5% to 15% of the questions of your EmSAT Math. So as we know that there are total 60 questions in EmSAT Math. So from this 5% of 60 is approximately 3 and 15% of 60 it's gonna be 9. You may expect 3 to 9 questions based on this chapter. So what are the topics we need to discuss under this section? So the main topics are, as they mention here about the statistics, we need to know about the mean, mode, median, standard deviation, range, and the definitions of the data arrangement along with the probability, combinations, and other basics topics related with. So let's see each question one by one in detail so that you will be at the same time you also be revising your the basic concepts and the tricks required for the solving these kind of questions. All right, so let's go to the first question here. First question is talking about data types. Basically, identify the statistical data type for the following variable: a medal won at the Olympic, that is a gold, silver, bronze, or a none. So this type of arrangement comes belongs which category, whether it is nominal, ordinal, interval, or a ratios. So before that, it's better for us to know the definition of each one. So let's see what the nominal and each definition says. Nominal applies to the data that consists of names, labels, or categories. So example here I can say here as a name, any like John, or they are also saying the labels like male, female. These are the examples of the nominal data. Next, ordinal applies to the data that can be arranged in order. So something, the information which can be arranged in a order, such type of information are called as an ordinal. Example I can say like the arranging the people first, let's say male and then female, that is how we are arranging them in a order. So that's called the ordinal. And the interval applies to the data that can be arranged in order. Addition and the differences between the data values are meaningful. So example for the interval I can say here is a temperature, representing a temperature, representing the SAT score, any score, you can arrange the score in order with the differences. Example, the students who got like 1300 to 1400 or 1400 to 1500 and so on. So I can categorize, I can specify the certain range of the score over there. And the ratio says applies to the data that can be arranged in order. The ratios of the data values are meaningful. So the example of this one I can take it here as age. I can arrange the people by their age. I can arrange the people by their weight, etc. So these are arranging the things in this order are called the ratios. Now let's go to the question and see what actually which definition suits to the arranging the data in terms of the what the medals which has been mentioned. As the data shown here are basically the categories or the name of the medals. So we go best choice here is gonna be A, that is it's providing the gold, silver, bronze. It's basically the category of the winning, winning categories. So A is the right answer to this question. Question number 2 here is, here are a score of 20 students on algebra test. So that is the table is representing the score of 20 students, and the score and the frequency says the how many total number of students are there, and the score represent the what score of individual. So for example, 0 is the score for the frequency 3. It means there are 3 students who score as a 0 in the algebra test. 20 is the score for 1, means there is one student who scored a 20 in the algebra test. 42 means there are 2 students who scored 40 in the test. 64, it means there are 4 students who scored 60 each in the algebra test. Now question is about find the mean of the data set. So when they are saying us to find the mean of the data sets, basically they are asking us find the mean score. So what is the definition of mean? Mean, sometimes it is also called as an arithmetic mean, or we can also say it as an average. So what is the definition of the average? Average is basically the sum of numbers divided by total numbers, isn't it? So sum of numbers divided by total number is the definition of the average. Then how do I, so here we are finding the mean score, so we have to calculate here sum of the scores divided by total number of students gives you the mean score. So what is the sum of the score here? How do you calculate the sum of the score? Here I can write as it is the frequency table they have given. There are three students who scored 0, means I can do it like 3 times 0 plus, that gives me the sum of the or the total score. There are one student who scored 20, then I can say 1 times 20, just multiply the column, okay? So 2 times 40 plus 4 times 60 plus 8 times 80 plus 2 times 100. So arrange them further. 3 times 0 is going to be 0, plus 1 times 20 is 20, plus 40 times 2 it's going to be 80, plus 60 times 4 is going to be 240, plus 80 times 8 is going to be 640, plus 200. So when you add them all, as the calculator is allowed, when you add them all, so what the score you're gonna get? You're gonna get this a sum, it's gonna be 1180. 1180 will be the total score. But there, the question here is about the finding the mean score. We can say now mean score, it's basically the sum of the score 1180 divided by the number of students. There are 20 students, so 0 and 0 just get cancelled out. 118 divided by 2, that gives you 59. The mean score of the 20 students which has been represented in the data table here is 59. Question number 3 is a probability based question which involves the concept of combinations along with exclusive and independent events. So let's see what the question is talking about and how we can make use of this concept. Question says Ahmad and Hamad plays a tennis each week. The probability that Ahmad wins the first match against the Hamad is 2/3. What is the probability that Ahmad wins exactly 3 of the next 4 matches against Hamad? So they are asking us the probability of winning the Ahmad is 2/3. With this probability, what is the chance that Ahmad wins exactly 3 matches out of 4 what he gonna play with this condition? So as we know the definition of probability, it's basically a chance, the possible outcome divided by total. That's the definition of probability. But how do I make use here? See, here they are saying, let me represent here probability of winning a match. Probability of winning a match, I can say that is 2/3. Then the probability of losing that match, I can say it as 1 minus 2/3, that is basically 1/3, right? So that is the probability of losing the match. And again the second, that is this part involves a combination here. So I have to win exactly how much, how many, 3 matches out of 4. So I have to make use of the combination. So combination of winning 3 matches out of 4. That's how do we represent now. So let me tell you what the combination is. Basically the combination is arranging things in a group. So if I'm saying for example, if I'm writing the combination of n c r, it means there are n number of objects, we are making a group of r each. So this can be written as n factorial over n minus r factorial times r factorial. That's the way of representing a combination. Now you may also get what do you mean by the factorial now. The factorial way, it's Just keep multiplying a number by reducing it by 1 till you get the last digit as 1. So like n factorial can be written as n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 times till you get the last digit as 1. So example, 5 factorial can be written as 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Multiply them all, and what the answer you're gonna get, that is the result of 5 factorial. All right, so let's move to the question what they're asking us. So as I said, this involves the combination and also the probability. The rule for the combination and the probability together, it says, so this is the rule or the formula what we gonna use here. So if I mention something about, I want like a probable, let's say combination of n object, like the total they are playing n number of matches, in that one the r number of matches where Ahmad wants to win. And with this, the what is the combination, the probability of winning the match, probability of winning that match, it's gonna be, and then I have to multiply with the probability of losing that match as well. So probability of losing that match as well. So what is the probability of losing that match? We know that the probability of losing that match we already mentioned. And how many matches we are playing? 4 matches. In that, what is the condition? So the conditions for winning the match is gonna be 3. Ahmad wants to win 3 matches and he wants to lose a 1 match. If he's winning 3, then he is losing 1, so that we have to rate it their power. So this can be written as 1. How many matches he is losing? This many. How many matches he is winning? 3. So this is overall I have to represent as per the information they have given. So that a combination of, we are playing the 4 matches, out of 3, out of 4, 3 has to win, and the chance or the probability of winning, it's gonna be 2/3 to its power 3, and the probability of losing that match is 1/3 to its power 1, or we can also write it as 4 minus 1. So right, so here what is the combination of 4 C3? This is written as 4 factorial over 4 minus 3 factorial times 3 factorial, isn't it? And what is the what is the chance of winning? That is 2/3 to the power 3. This can be written as 2 by 3 times 2 by 3 times 2 by 3. It's basically power 3 means we have to multiply the same number 3 times. And 1/3 to the power of 1, it's gonna be 1 by 3 itself. So right, so let's make further simplification. So 4 factorial over 4 minus 3 factorial times 3 factorial. So 4 factorial can be written as 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, right? And division, this can be written as 4 minus 3 is going to be 1 factorial times 3 factorial. 3 factorial, this is 1 factorial, not 11. So 1 factorial is same as 1. So times 3 factorial. 3 factorial can be written as 3 times 2 times 1, and these numbers here are 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3 times 1/3. So what we do, let's simplify it further. 3 and 3 get cancelled out, 2 and 2 get cancelled out. We just left out with the numerator here of 4. This number multiplied by this, all the number, 4 times 2, it's gonna be 8. 8 times 2 is gonna be 16. 16 times 2, it's gonna be 32. Denominator here is 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is going to be 27. 27 times 3, it's going to be 81. The probability of winning 3 out of 4 matches with the condition 2/3, that's going to be 32 by 81. So this is the answer. And which choice is providing the 32 by 81 here? That's the option number A. Option choice A is the right answer to this question. All right, so please remember this rule to answer to this kind of question. So that is what we say, this question is depending on the combination and the probability as well. Question number 4. The average rainfall for the year since 2005 is given in the table below. In 2005, there was an average rainfall of 1.345 centimeter. 2006 1.408, 2007 and 2008 they have given the values. Now in 2010 there was 2.956 centimeter of rainfall. How much more rainfall than the predicted by the table above? So now how much more rainfall has occurred in 2010 as predicted by the table as compared to the predicted by the table above. Now how do we predict the values? It's basically find the differences between the each year, by what percent the rainfall got increased or by what percent the rainfall got decreased. Depending upon that we can predict what would be the rainfall for the next year. So let's take the difference between 1.408 minus 1.345. If you take the difference of these two value, it says what amount of rainfall got increased in 2006 as compared to 2005. So this difference, so you'll be getting it as 0.063, or I can say in terms of percentage 6.3%. If you take the difference from 2006 and 7 rainfall, so it says 0.129. So how I'm getting that number? So 1.537 minus 1.408, so that gives you the difference as 0.129. So that you have to do it in the same way for the next as well. Take the difference between 1.580 minus 1.537. The difference here is going to be 0.043. So or 4.3% I can say. Now this is the minimum amount of increase and this is the maximum amount of increase. If you are converting them into percentage, so this is gonna be 6.3%, here it's gonna be 12.9%, and here it's gonna be 4.3%. How do I'm converting it? So any number multiplied by 100, that is converted into percentage. Example 0.043. If you multiply by 100, this will be represented as 4.3%. That's how we are doing. But now how do we predict the value? So maximum the rainfall getting increased by 12.9% as per the number of years they have given, and the minimum is getting increased by 4.3% as compared to the previous year. But now there is, how do we predict the value based on this one? While predicting the values, you have to take the intermediate values, not the maximum, not the minimum, the intermediate factor with which the rainfall is getting increased. So intermediate factor here is basically 6.3%. So based on this assumption, we say that approximately in 2010 also the rainfall will get increased with the average of 6.3% as compared to the previous year. So in the previous year 2008, the rainfall here, as they mentioned, 1.580. For in 2010, so your rainfall get increased as 1.580 plus 6.3% of that value, because it is getting increased, right? So 6.3%, 6.3% can also be written as 0.063 times that value 1.580. So if you add that 1.580 plus 0.063 times 1.580, you'll be getting the value approximately as 1.67954. So it's a calculator, please make use of it. So now the actually the predicted value is supposed to be 1.67954, but actually the rainfall on the 2010 is 2.956. Now how much more rainfall based as per the prediction here is, just you need to find the difference of the what rainfall occurred with the predicted value. So what is the differences? Just check it here. So we can do it like 2.956 minus 1.679 something, right? So if you take the difference of this, you'll be getting it as 1.2764. So this is the predicted or this is the amount got increased in the rainfall. But question they are saying, round your answer to the nearest hundreds. To rounding the answer to the nearest hundred, so what we do, uh, you have to, because this is called the tenths place and this is called the hundredths place. If the number next to the hundredths place is greater than or equal to 5, we add 1 to the hundredths place number. And if the number next to the hundredths place number is less than or equal to 4, means between 1 and 4, so we keep that number as it is. As the next number is 6, which is greater than 5, then we have to add 1 to the hundreds place number to round it to the nearest hundred, so that we can write as 1.27 plus 1 is gonna be 8. So 1.28 is the amount which got more as compared to the predicted values. So answer to this question, it's gonna be 1.28. All right. Question number 5. The height of a boys in a grade 10 class are normally distributed with a mean of 168 centimeter and a standard deviation of 2.5 centimeter. In which range do 95% of the height approximately fall? This question is relating with the standard deviation and a normal distribution. So better you need to have a concept. What do you mean by standard deviation and a normal distribution? Let's consider this diagram here, which I have just taken it from the Google only for the explaining purpose. So how do we represent a standard deviation and the normal distribution is in this shape. The name of the curve is says a bell-shaped curve. So this bell-shaped curve expresses or describes the what is the approximate percentage of the data available in the certain range as per the condition. So always the middle value or the middle exact this portion is represent the average data. As per our question, it's gonna be 168 centimeter, and if the first and the standard deviation is represented on the x-axis. If I'm representing the range, this is called the first standard deviation, this is called the second standard deviation, this is called the third standard deviation, and so on. This side also, this is the first standard deviation, second and third. So left side we are doing it minus, because when you are representing the data, we are widening that bell shaped curve. If you are considering, if you are arranging the data in this order, and between the first standard deviation and the mean, approximately 68% of the data are belongs to this range. 68% of the data belongs to this range. So that's how do we predict. But as per the question is about 95% of the data. Based on this concept, what how many number of students range approximately belongs to 95% of the data which has been represented. So then how do I do? I have to, for the 95% of the data, this is the entire information I need to talk about. So in this 95% of the data, and as they have given the standard deviation for the 95% of the data, we are going increased in standard deviation by 2, and also decreased in the standard deviation by 2 as well. So we know that, so average or the mean for the 95% of the data to belong, so we have to do mean plus or minus 2 times of the standard deviation. So why I'm saying 2 times, because the times for the 95% of the data, the standard deviation getting increased by 2 or also decreased by 2. If it is for 99.7%, in that case mean plus or minus the 3 times in that case. So it's 3 times the standard deviation. So all right, so this is what the rule we need to follow. Let's move back to the question and understand. We know that the mean is 168. As per the question, mean is 168. 168, I have to represent plus or minus 2 times of the standard deviation. I'm taking 2 times because it is the 95%. Please remember, these are the fixed value. If they are asking you approximately 68% of the standard, 68%, so then you have to take the standard deviation as 1. 95% standard deviation as 2, 99.7% standard deviation as 3, and so on. So mean plus or minus the standard deviation 2 pi 5. So why I'm writing plus or minus? Once you have to do it as plus, once you have to, then next you have to do it as a minus to find their range. So I can do here as 168 plus 2 times 2.5. So what this value is gonna be? 168 plus 2 times 2.5 is gonna be 5. 5 plus 168 is gonna be 173. This is the maximum range what you can get. Now look at here, among options A, B, C, D, the greatest range which has the 173 here is only option C. So no need of checking in the exam what would be the your minimum range, because that is the time taking. So 173 is only here. Your answer should be C. But I'll show you, as we are not in an exam, so we are just solving this. You can find the minimum by doing this: 168 minus 2 times of 2.5. So that is same as 168 minus 5. So 168 minus 5 gives you 163. So this is the minimum range as 163 and maximum range as 173. This is where the 95% of the students heights belongs to the number of student in the 10th class. All right, so that's it for today. Soon I'll be coming up with the new and the more videos relating with this MSAT math portion. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.